Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Chtib Zhang Show, episode 63, another UFC Fight Night. Eric, in this week's episode, a lot of good fights happening in UFC Fight Night in London, England. A lot of British fighters, a lot of Englishmen from the homeland. That's where the ancestors are from. But before we jump into that main card, as always, roll it. Welcome back to the Chtib Zhang Show, episode 63. Like I said, UFC Fight Night in London. We're talking about the main card. We're going to give you the odds and the bets and our predictions, our thoughts. A lot of important fights, a lot of good fighters, a lot of importance when it comes to the standings in their respective divisions. But nonetheless, let's jump into the first fight, which is a welterweight bout. Eric Gunnar Nelson, I believe he's from Iceland. Iceland, yeah, and versus Takashi Sato. Gunnar Nelson, the favorite here, almost a 4-1 favorite, and Takashi Sato a plus 290 underdog. Man, Gunnar Nelson, even though he's almost a 4-1 favorite, Eric hasn't fought in over 2 years.
Yeah.
2019 was his last fight when he lost to Gilbert Burns. He's fought a lot of good people. You know, he lost to Leon Edwards, lost to Gilbert Burns. So it's been 2 years now. I guess he took a little break, or I'm not sure what happened, but this guy is a wrestler slash jiu-jitsu specialist. Most of his fight wins come from a submission, not really a big striker kind of guy. That's why Takashi Sato, it's fair to say he's the better striker in this bout. However, I like Gunnar Nelson, even though he's not biggest striker. Takashi Sato too also has good takedown defense, like around 50%. And so Gunnar Nelson's still going to be looking for takedowns. Takashi Sato might stop a few of them, but he might let the one or two that might lose him the fight. This is a 3-round fight, of course. And so yeah, usually when I see wrestlers in 3-round fights,
Yep.
I tend to go with them because they stick to their game plan, take him down, get ground control, and that pretty much wins you the fight. Gunnar Nelson, though, I don't know. There could be a stoppage here. There's a good chance Gunnar Nelson gets attacked here in the first round. A good chance he might get dropped by Takashi Sato. It's been 2 years. Who knows how he's coming out of the gate in the first round, if he's going to be, slower than usual. Takashi Sato, like I said, great striker. He could land some good punches here in the first round. But then again, if Gilbert Burns can't put you out in the first round, like we saw in that Gunnar Nelson Burns fight in the first round, he had Gunnar Nelson on the ground. He could have finished him, but he couldn't. Gunnar Nelson was sticking around. So if Burns can't put you away, don't think Takashi Sato is going to be putting you away. Hopefully, I don't eat those words up, but I'm going to go with Gunnar Nelson because I know him better. I like his fighting style. I fought him a lot, Eric, actually in UFC career mode in the welterweight. He was my arch nemesis. So I know all about him, how annoying he is on the ground, took me down. It's hard to get up from him. And yeah, so
Yeah.
I'm going to go with Gunnar Nelson. I'm going to say most likely, I could see this fight going to a decision win, but I can also see I don't know, maybe rear naked choke in the second round or something like that when Gunnar Nelson gets his game plan going with the takedown. So I'm gonna go with Gunnar Nelson, even though those are some whopping odds. 4-1, Eric, almost. So if you got money and you're looking for an underdog win and you're looking to profit, Takashi Sato could be a good bet here.
Yep. Exactly. So yeah, for this fight, Takashi Sato has 4 fights in the UFC. Two of them are submission losses, and then 2 of them are TKO/KO wins. So you could see what his weaknesses are and his advantages are. So obviously, we know he has knockout power. He's a striker, right? And on the other hand, you have Nelson, who's basically kind of his kryptonite, someone who can wrestle and then finish you too with a submission. So the thing with Gunnar Nelson is the only thing that really scares me is the 2 and something year
Yeah,
layoff, right? Because when you're a fighter, you have to be active. Because once you leave for a bit, we've seen that with so many fighters. They leave and then they come back and they're just not the same. Because you you can spar as much as you want, but you have to be active.
yeah.
The more active you are, the better. Like being active makes such a
What we saw
difference.
with Colby Jorge, active
Exactly,
versus
exactly,
unactive.
exactly. And then even I was gonna use Conor McGregor as an example, but that's completely
Yeah,
different.
well, he's injured right now.
Exactly.
Cut him
But
slack.
the thing with Gunnar Nelson is if you look at his previous fights, man, He fought Gilbert Burns, lost, right?
Yeah.
And then lost a very close split decision to Leon Edwards. And the thing
Leon.
with Leon Edwards is we know he hasn't lost in like years since Kamaru. He lost to Kamaru years ago now, but yet he's on like a 8-9 fight winning streak. Hasn't lost in years, and Gunnar Nelson almost beat him, lost by submission, and just by looking at the numbers and everything, you can see that Gunnar Nelson was taking him down, didn't land a lot of strikes, but the takedowns and ground control, that's what Gunnar Nelson does. So for a 3-round fight, and like usually in the UFC, we've bet a lot. Like we know that it's so much safer and so much more likely for the wrestler to win than
Yeah.
the knockout. Like, but the thing with Sato is not even a knockout artist, but usually go
Nope.
with the wrestler, and especially a wrestler that can submit to that. That's huge, right? So that's why I'll be going with Gunnar Nelson.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty fair because even before that, he beat Alex Oliveira, who we just saw a couple weeks ago.
Yeah. A couple of weeks ago, just lose to Kevin
but-
Holland.
Yeah, and we know that Alex Oliveira is a ground guy too. So
Hmm.
the fact that Gunnar Nelson was able to submit Alex Oliveira is pretty huge too. And then before that, he lost to Santiago Ponzinibbio.
Ponzinibbio.
We talked about him we talked about him a while ago too, but that's when he was on his super hot streak. So
Yeah.
it's pretty fair. So I think Gunnar Nelson really needs this win to get his career back on track, and I think this fight was set up for him to win, right? Because it's in the UK, right?
Yeah.
Is Iceland in the UK? I think so.
What
Iceland's
did
not.
you just say?
It doesn't count as being the UK. Is it not like Wales? What's part of the UK? The United
It's
Kingdom.
definitely not Iceland. I'm pretty sure United Kingdom's like Ireland and all that. But
Okay. Maybe not.
Whoa. I'm gonna. That's an outrageous. What is that? Geography lesson.
Yeah, that's on me. That's on me.
Iceland
Is
in
he
the
actually
UK.
from Iceland?
No, I'm pretty sure he's from Iceland. I remember seeing Iceland.
Okay, but whichever country, because I don't think they would have put him on this card, because they wanted their UK people. That's why. So I'm not sure if he's. That's why I'm a little confused.
I don't even know if it's in the UK.
No, Iceland's not in the UK.
I don't think
Iceland's
so.
not
No.
no, 100% it's not in the UK.
It
It's
is?
not part of the. No, it's not. It's not. 100% it's not. I'm just saying. Okay.
I'm pretty. It might have been like sovereignty state of the United Kingdom, but I don't think
Okay.
anymore.
No, it's not. It's not.
Okay.
I took back the claim a while ago.
I don't
I'm
want to
just
sound like
saying-
an idiot. You're the idiot.
Yeah, fair. But I'm just saying that to say that the UFC, what they like to do, especially they stack this card with a bunch of UK fighters, right, on the main card
Yeah.
and everything, and they want those guys to win, obviously, in their hometown.
Well, yeah, because they don't have a lot of good. UK doesn't have a lot of good stars, right? In the UFC, they don't like. They're trying to grow their
They're trying to
fighters
grow,
here.
and they're a huge fan base, right? The UK is a huge fan base. Like
Yeah.
the amount of love that fighters get from the UK is incredible. Just look at Michael Bisping, who's
Yeah.
American, American, but he's from the UK, so he gets so much support. You see Darren Till, how much support he got when he was on the rise. So yeah,
Tom Aspinall, who we're going to talk about
Exactly, who
too,
we're
it's
gonna
going to have
talk
a lot
about
of
later.
impact.
but yeah, I
Paddy.
don't know if we're gonna talk about Darren Till, but it's kind of sad that he's on this card because he's still training.
Yeah.
But when they do these cards, especially in England, Darren Till's always there. So
Oh yeah,
So it's kind of sad that he's not, but it's for the better because he's training with Hamzat right now, and he's gonna come back.
I love
even
it.
stronger than
I love their
before that.
friendship. I love
Oh,
this Darren
it's
Till
so
Hamzat.
funny.
It's
so
glad
funny.
to see Hamzat has somebody.
Yeah,
that guy needs a number like this is a great duo personality.
exactly.
Them and Bisbing, like get Bisbing in there, get those
Yeah.
three going. They're hanging out. And what he like? Did you hear that he was driving with
Yeah,
them?
and then he's going crazy, and
And
they're all
Hamzat's going
laughing.
crazy. And he's like,
They're
"Stop the
laughing.
car! Stop the car!" And then he's
Oh.
like, "What the fuck is going on?" and stuff like that. I love that comedic duo. And yeah, it sucks Darren Till's here, but there's a lot of good fighters on this card.
Oh no,
And
for
like
sure.
arguably, we'll get to Arnold Allen. Like arguably, Arnold Allen's the best UK fighter right now, I would say, in the
Actually,
UFC. Because he's 8-0, he's undefeated, and the way he just keeps getting better. We'll get to him, but we got to talk about another
Let's go.
Englishman, right? Paddy Pimblett. What's that middle name again? Or I think it's Paddy the Baddy. Yeah, Paddy the Baddy
Come
Pimblett.
on, man. Paddy the Baddy.
The lightweight bout on the main card. Good for Paddy. Was he on the main card? Okay, so last time he fought, it was what, in October, I believe.
It was during the summer. It was during the summer.
No, was it not October when he was on that big English card with Aspinall? What was that card there with Darren Till when he lost to Brunson?
I'm pretty sure that
Was
was
he
in
not
the
on that
summer.
card?
Yeah, he was on that card. Yeah, he
No,
was.
I think it was in October, man.
Yeah.
Pretty
Okay,
sure
let me check.
October.
I'll
I
let
could
you
be
know right
wrong, but
now. September 4th.
okay, so yeah, September 4th, October. So yeah, Paddy got a knockout. He was looking for a knockout, not really a knockout artist, more of a jiu-jitsu guy, submission guy, crazy submission guy. And so if you see some of his highlights, and he wanted a knockout, got his knockout in the first career fight. He's facing Rodrigo Vargas now, Eric. But man, Paddy is coming in, Eric, at a whopping 4-1 favorite.
Yep.
That is crazy. Obviously, the stardom that's carrying with him is carrying with the betters too. And in Vegas, there's no way Paddy should be a 4-1 favorite versus any. I mean, first of all, we know he's a submission specialist. He can get the crazy flying arm bars. We know that and everything like that. But we've also seen him get dropped a numerous amount of times. In that last fight, he got dropped in the first round, I believe, or something like that. Even in his other fights across the world, he's gone dropped too as well. And so he has a good chin. We know that he has a good chin. He can withstand that. Like he gets up right away. But he exposes it, right? He leaves it up and he gets chinned. And, he likes to skate. He likes to say, like Scousers don't get knocked out and stuff like that. Scousers don't get knocked out. And yeah, we know that. But there's a good chance, like anyone that could just clip your chin and end it. So being a 4-1 favorite, man, that's crazy. I'm looking at Rodrigo Vargas if I'm betting or so, but it's not going to change my decision on who I think's winning this fight. I think Paddy has the tools to use that to his advantage. He's got the grappling, and we know Rodrigo Vargas has a problem with grapplers. He's not really that good in defending them, and so that's why I'm going to go with Paddy because he has the submissions. He can, we've seen him strike. He can strike, land some hits, grappling too. And yeah, in the UK fight, I'm saying like any decision with a UK fighter, if it's close, they're going to get it, right? They're going to get it. I really believe that. I really think the UFC wants to grow their UK fighters. So if this goes to decision, I don't know. This is a 3-fight round, right? I'm not sure if the Arnold Allen, if that's 5 or not. Not sure. Didn't do my looks. If Arnold Allen and Dan Hooker are 5.
Not sure.
Can you check that? I'm not sure. Actually, I'll check that. But yeah, Rodrigo Vargas plus 295 underdog. He's still a good prospect in the UFC. Still 12-4. Even though some of the fighters he's beaten there, if you look at his fight record, not that impressive. Not really any big names. And so he's lost a couple too to some not that big names. So not really impressed with this guy. He's the bigger guy. But still, I'm going to go with Paddy here just because he has more tools to use to advantage and grappling. I really think he's going to utilize to give him a win. If his decision or he decides to end him submission, it could be a round 1 submission, rear naked choke. I'm not sure. But I'd be looking at submission. I put a little money too on submission. I think this fight's going to end. I really think Paddy's going to end it somehow with submission. So I think maybe round 1 or 2 submission, rear naked choke, I think.
Okay, yeah. So obviously, I feel like we're super excited for this fight. Paddy the Baddy, he's been hyped up by the UFC literally before he even fought once in UFC. He's been hyped up.
Yeah.
The UFC have wanted Paddy for so long when he was a Cage Warrior champion, all that, because obviously he has everything. He has the stardom. He's got the voice. He's got the character and even the fighting style. Obviously, he's just one of those guys that will put it all out there. He's gonna go toe to toe. And in his first fight, as you said, chin up the whole time, got clipped, but he outstruck his opponent. Obviously, it was the first fight, so his opponent wasn't that good. And that's how it usually is. So, it was kind of weird because when I was watching, I was like, wait, isn't this guy supposed to be the favorite? Like, isn't he supposed to be the next supposedly Conor McGregor? So this guy chin up, but he is a jiu-jitsu guy, so that's not even his main thing. So the fact that he's able to knock out his opponent is a bonus, right? And he even said, "Oh, I'm not a scouser," and he said he's not going to change up his style. He said he's going to keep his chin up. So I don't know how effective that's
Yeah.
gonna be. I hope he actually changes it because he's like, oh, it's been working for years. But I understand it's been
Yeah.
working, but in the
20
UFC,
fights. Or what's he say?
yeah,
Like 20 fights. I've never been
yeah.
knocked out.
Literally. And then, but like UFC is different, man. Like these people in the UFC are like once you climb up the ranks, like there's some dangerous people
That's
there.
why.
So
Yeah.
he's got to watch that chin. At least like tuck it in a bit. Like just get ready. Like don't like you're gonna get clipped. You just don't want to get dropped. So um, for this fight, I'm still going Paddy the Baddy Pimlet. As you said, I think he's gonna get the finish because he's gonna be in England. All the fans are gonna be there. Like most of his like
I think
it's
he's
sold
looking
out.
for a finish.
Yeah, it's sold out in minutes.
Yeah.
Like especially with Paddy there. Like because Paddy even before joining the UFC, he was selling out arenas all the time. So he was a huge star, right? And obviously his look too. He's got to get a haircut, but whatever.
Bro,
It's
do you
just
see
the look,
how
you know.
like crazy he looks when he cuts versus how he looks normally when he's walking around?
Yeah.
Bro, when he's like walking around, he doesn't look like he belongs in the UFC. But you're like,
Exactly.
that guy fights in the UFC.
Especially
He's
at
got
lightweight at
such a
155.
big face,
Yeah.
chubby cheeks. Because he likes eating like shit when he doesn't have to
Yeah.
fight. He loves
Exactly.
McDonald's and stuff. So,
No.
and then when he cuts to lightweight, 155, man, shit, like jaw,
Yeah.
that
Exactly.
he's got the jaw, yeah, he's got the
He's
skinny
got the
face look.
definition. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, he's got
So,
the definition. It's funny.
but the thing with this fight is, I feel like Patty's gonna get the finish. I believe it's a 3-round fight, right?
Yeah.
I think he's gonna get the finish. He said, "Oh, it's not leaving the first round." He said the first fight too, and it never left the first round. So I feel like it's not gonna leave the first round, but I feel like it will because like a lot of fighters just say it. But I feel like Patty's a man of it. Where I'll hold him accountable. I'm gonna say first round submission,
Submission?
Patty the Baddy. Give him like a guillotine or maybe not, like
Maybe not
flying
guillotine.
arm bars. Or I feel like you're just gonna want to knock him out because obviously getting a knockout finish is way crazier than like the submission, right? So
Yeah, but he's also got to think about the win, right? He's gonna do what he does best,
no,
which is not knocking people out.
but I feel like he's an entertainer at first. He's an entertainer.
Yeah, we'll see. I hope he gets. I'm betting a round one or hopefully a round two submission, rear naked choke or something. But yeah, it should be entertaining. It's gonna be interesting to see that guy fight again. If he gets clipped, man. If he gets clipped again in the first round, gets back up, that guy better work on that chin. It's a good chin. He has a good chin. He just
Yeah,
needs to tuck it. Just needs to
but
tuck it.
but I feel like it's just gonna be a show regardless, right? He's gonna
Yeah.
put on a show. It's not gonna be one of those. If you're watching Paddy the Baddy, it's not gonna be a boring fight. It's not gonna be like a technical.
No.
He doesn't do that. He doesn't do that.
No. Maybe later down the future, but not right now. Next fight. This is a good fight. This is one of the
Yep.
great fights on this card, Eric. A featherweight bout between the Englishman Arnold Allen versus the Australian or New Zealand. They're the same, whatever. Dan Hooker.
Yeah.
Dan Hooker making his first appearance in featherweight, Eric, for what? First time since what, 6 years ago, 7 years ago?
Yeah, a while ago. Yeah.
Something like that. Okay, so the betting, Arnold Allen, Eric, at one point was the underdog, I believe, but now he kind of has evened out with Dan Hooker. He's under 104. Dan Hooker's under 121. Man, I should have bet on Arnold Allen when I had the chance, when he was a favorite or underdog, but not anymore. So Eric, this is an interesting fight. This is an interesting fight to analyze. You got Arnold Allen, who's been rocking at featherweight. He's 8-0 in the UFC right now, so he's undefeated in the UFC. He's got a 17-1 record all time. Arnold Allen's a great kickboxer. His striking, Eric, has looked phenomenal. It keeps getting better and better every fight he finishes. Of course, he has no career KOs, so you might think, oh, he doesn't punch that strong or whatever. No, he's got power in his hands. He's just more of a technical striker. He loves technical striking. It's big, one of his assets, and the fact that it keeps getting better, it's scary. Even though he doesn't have the KO power, I still believe he has the power, right? Even though he hasn't knocked anybody out, but he can dice you up, man. The body shots, your head, the chin shots, the jab. He's getting really good at it, and he's very disciplined too. So he doesn't make many errors when it comes to bad head movement or if he slips the wrong way and gets clipped or something like that. So that's really important too. And for a guy like Arnold Allen, who differentiates himself from Dan Hooker because of his head movement. We know he has great head movement. Dan Hooker, not so much. And so this is a great opportunity for Arnold Allen. He's 8-0 in the UFC, Eric. If you want to talk about beating a big name, Dan Hooker's the guy. Dan Hooker has fought some big ass names. He is a big fighter in himself. And so if you're able to beat this guy, get ready to jump up the standings because that's what's going to happen. And so I like Arnold Allen, honestly. He's got wins over some notable He got wins over Nick Lentz, Mac One, Amir Khani, Gilbert Melendez. He's being some good guys. I trust that he's going to be ready for the biggest fight of his career now. Yeah. And on the other side, Dan Hooker, listen, we know he's the striker, kickboxer. He's going to have the size and reach in this fight, but it's the weight cut. It's the weight cut, Eric. It's always when these skinny guys from 155 decide to go down to 145, like already Dan Hooker's a skinny guy, right? And I'm not sure like how that chin's going to go because we've seen him get clipped. Yeah. And so how's that chin strength going to be when he goes down to 145 when it's real skinny? And, because he's sustained a lot of damage over his career. And so I'm interested to see how it is at 145 versus a guy like Arnold Allen, who's been fighting at 145, been conditioning at it, used to it. He knows what his body's limitations are. And so, yeah, it's going to be interesting. We know Dan Hooker loves the guillotine chokes. He's got a few guillotine chokes on his resume. And it'd be interesting to see if he tries to utilize that. He's got good techniques. He catches opponents' chin when they're open. Like Arnold Allen, not really KO power, but he clips the guy's chins, they fall. But he's not really that guy who could just knock somebody out with a clean. He's really got to hit your chin. And yeah, I'm interested to see if that weight cut affects the way he fights because Dan Hooker's a great fighter, but man, Arnold Allen is also a good fighter. Like I said before, he could be the best UK fighter right now in the UFC. He's 8-0, and he's only looked better every single fight. So he was the underdog at one point by a lot. He's kind of evened out now with Dan Hooker. I'm gonna go with Arnold Allen. I'm gonna go with Arnold Allen over Dan Hooker. Decision win, I would say. Decision win. Yeah, Arnold Allen. I like Arnold Allen. I really do. I like Dan Hooker too. It's just the weight cut and dropping down versus, if it was maybe anybody else, but Arnold Allen, the way he's fighting right now, it's dangerous. He is a dangerous striker. And so is Dan Hooker, but I'm going to go with a guy who's like Kai Kara France and Cody Garbrandt, gonna go with the guy who's been in the division longer and knows what's up.
Yeah, I was literally about to use that as an example too, because sorry. Because remember we were talking about Cody, the weight cut, his chin's probably his chin was already soft, and now it got even softer, and then we saw what happened, right? So, for this fight, I understand the weight cut and everything. The only thing it's because Dan Hooker's been at this weight before, right? But he's
long time ago.
He's gonna be a really big 145 though, because he's 6 foot, right? So a 145 who's 6 foot, like even at 155, he looks taller than most of these fighters. Like I feel like he's taller. Like if you're telling me that Max Holloway's 5'11", there's no way like Dan Hooker's got to be 6 something because this guy is tall, So I think with this fight is Dan Hooker. I've been following Dan Hooker. Like I know I've watched most of his fight, like especially in the last few years, right? There was a time where Dan Hooker was a rising star. Yeah, he's 6 feet. He's listed at 6 foot, but I feel like you just feel like if you watch him fight,
he's got a long neck.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, but he's
got that long neck.
His arms are like I don't know what it is, but he just looks like very tall for even at 155.
Yeah.
So at 145 is gonna look super tall. The thing with Dan Hooker was this guy went on a crazy streak. So he won 4 in a row and then lost to Edson Barboza, who we know now is in the featherweight. So maybe there might be a
little rematch.
Hey, could happen down the road. But then he won 3 fights in a row after that, and so he basically won 7 out of 8. And in those 7 fights, he beat guys like Jim Miller, Gilbert Burns, James Vick, Ali Quinta, and Paul Felder. And those are good. Like those are good names, right? And especially the one that surprises most people is a Gilbert Burns win because Gilbert Burns, that was his last loss in a while, right? Before losing to Kamaru. And then also the Paul Felder one is huge because we know how good Paul Felder is at striking and all that stuff. And the fact that Dan Hooker was able to outstrike him, it was a very close fight. And the same thing with the Dustin Poirier fight. That was a really close fight. I watched. That was a crazy fight, and Dan Hooker lost. But hey, you could have given it to Dan Hooker easily. So that fight against Dustin Poirier made me a fan of Dan Hooker right away. It showed me that, man, like this guy can strike.
Yeah,
So
with the best.
obviously,
Yeah,
exactly. So now you look at Arnold Allen, who technically is a kickboxer, so he's not even a ground guy. So that's why for me it's hard to see a way for Arnold Allen to win, because most of his fights are all like decisions, and then he has submissions, right? So
yeah.
maybe if he gets a submission like Islam did, well, he probably not gonna go as crazy as Islam, right? Because Islam is on another level. But maybe we could see we could see Arnold Allen,
Guillotine.
because it's
Is
hard for
Dan
I'm
Hooker
just
guillotine?
we'll see. It's just hard for me to see Arnold Allen finishing or winning by decision to Dan Hooker. I don't know what.
Why you
So
think Dan Hooker's either gonna finish? Like you don't see it going to decision?
no. That's
You
the
just
thing.
don't think he'd win it?
If it goes to decision, I think Dan Hooker will win. Just because I feel like Dan Hooker, like he's had battles, and like his most recent losses all come from a finish. So you have to finish Dan Hooker. I feel like
I don't know.
I'm counting that fight to Dustin Poirier as like a close fight, you know. So
I
hey,
don't know. But he's not in the lightweight anymore. He's going into the featherweight. That weight cut it has to have implications. He hasn't been there for 6-7 years. And like you said, he's fought a lot of guys, but he's also sustained a lot of damage. And I don't know. Dan Hooker's great, but I got to go with the way Arnold Allen's been fighting, the way his striking has looked. I could see it go to decision and Arnold Allen winning, but no, Dan Hooker, they're both good strikers. And Dan Hooker might have the better ground game because he is no slouch on the ground either. So
exactly.
yeah, I could see it. I wouldn't be surprised if Dan Hooker won.
Yeah, but me too with Arnold Allen, because I'm looking at Arnold Allen, and to be honest, I thought it was a way heavier favorite. I thought he was a huge favorite because realistically, you see him on this streak. This is his division, and then you have Dan Hooker, who's got to cut down, lost what 3 of his last 4 fights.
But he's a big name, Dan Hooker. That's why he's a favorite.
Exactly. So maybe that's why. But realistically, I really like Dan Hooker. The only thing, I'm kind of scared of his chin, but But I know that Arnold Allen is not a knockout artist.
Yeah.
So, you know, so
no career KOs.
Exactly. And if you look at his losses that Dan Hooker suffered, you have Dustin Poirier that he lost.
It was close.
It was a really close fight. And then Chandler, we know Chandler's a good fighter, right?
Yeah, Chandler's a good fighter.
Right? And then you also have Islam, and that's just a different story. So realistically, maybe Dan Hooker mentally he's on he thinks mentally he got to fix something. But if I had to bet, I feel like I go Dan Hooker, especially as an underdog. I'll take Dan Hooker.
He's not the underdog. He's the favorite.
I thought you said Arnold Allen's a favorite.
No, I kept saying he was at one point the underdog, Arnold Allen, but he's still the underdog. Dan Hooker's under 121. Arnold Allen's under 104.
Wait, really? Okay.
Arnold Allen was the underdog at one point. Yeah, Dan Hooker's the bigger name. Of course, you're gonna put him as a favorite.
Really? Okay. Give me Dan Hooker, but no, that's kind of because
it's not that much though. That's the thing.
Yeah, but I could definitely see Arnold Allen win.
Like they're almost even.
Yeah, this guy's good, man. I'm telling you, he's a good fighter.
Listen, I'm going with the Englishmen. If you can't tell, Eric, I'm going with all the Englishmen so far, and they're still. Is Holly Holm fighting in this prelim? I don't even know. Is she?
No.
Give me Holly Holm if she's fighting, or is it someone else? Is it? I was looking at it before. Oh, I recognize the name.
Holly Holm's not fighting. Oh, Molly McCann.
McCann.
So that's
Patty.
Yeah. So that's Paddy The Baddy's friend.
Yeah. That's who. Yeah. She fought when. That's who it was. Yeah. Holly Holm, but she's British too. Holly Holm, right? Or no? I don't even know. No, I was thinking of this girl. The girl you just mentioned. She's Molly the one McCann, I'm thinking of because she fought last time on the same card with Paddy. Yeah, I remember. So give me her too, if you want to throw her in your parlay.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's go to the main event now, Eric. This is a good main event. Heavyweight main event.
Yeah.
Number 6 ranked Alexander Drago Volkov versus Tom Aspinall, the number 11th ranked heavyweight contender in the world. Eric, I think was Tom Aspinall. I'm not sure, but one of these guys was the underdog originally. I'm not sure if it was Volkov or Aspinall, but they're both at even now under 112, both
Oh
at
yeah.
112. So it's
Okay.
an even bet. Yeah, I forget who was at under. I don't know if it was Volkov or Aspinall. One of them was at one of them became the underdog, but now they kind of even out the odds. And why wouldn't they? This is going to be a close fight. But I see it one sided, Eric. I honestly see it one sided. Listen, Alexander Volkov, he's the taller guy. He's got the reach and the height, Eric, but he doesn't have the reach that he's used to when he's facing other guys. Tom Aspinall shortened that reach that he has, so it's not a reach advantage that he's used to. It's a much smaller advantage than
Yeah.
the bigger ones that he has because he's a tall dude. We've seen Volkov standing up. He's a tall dude, and we know he's got the slick ground game. He's got the big front kicks to the body that we've seen him throw. He likes to lead a lot with his jab. His last fight versus was it Marvin Tybura or Marcin
Yeah.
Tybura? He won that fight. Not really an impressive look for him. He didn't look all too impressive when he was able to beat him. And well, when he was fighting, what's his face? Sorogan, he
Yeah.
threw a lot of leg kicks, a lot of leg kicks. So maybe that's something he does. But man, like even though he has the KO power, he's going against Tom Aspinall, Eric, who's quickly rising through the
Very
heavyweight
quickly.
ranks. Like this guy, I see a title shot very soon. For this
Yeah.
guy, Eric, if he can continue this run, I mean, he's got the strong chin. Um, he is the smaller guy than Volkov, of course, but yeah, he's the fast-paced striker. He's got powers in his hands, but he is fast-paced, which is different. A lot of heavyweight contenders in this division. He is a lot faster than most of them. He's also a black belt in jiu-jitsu, something you don't see a lot of heavyweights have. His dad was, I think, one of the first guys to have a jiu-jitsu black belt in the UK. I think I was
Oh
reading
yeah.
that, and so oh yeah. So he likes to back up his opponents, get him against the fence, and just start unloading with that fast-paced technical boxing that he has. And so that's why I expect him to do on Volkov. And Volkov too has terrible terrible takedown defense. And if Aspinall wants to take him to the ground, he will get him to the ground, no problem. So if I don't know how he's looking at this fight, what his game plan is. If he's just going to go in there and try and stand up with Volkov and believe he's the better striker and faster, then I could see him winning that way too. But I could also see him taking Volkov down and getting a TKO stoppage or something like that. So I just think Tom Aspinall right now, his fight favors him. And I just like the matchup versus Volkov. And also, like, let's be honest, if this fight goes to decision, uh, they're going to give it to the young Englishman who's rising up rather than Volkov, who's Russian, especially now what's going on in Russia, too. Like, you might think that doesn't have any implications, but I really do think it might have implications if this goes to decision. I don't think they're going to give it to Volkov at all, especially if this is like a close fight. If it's one-sided fight by Volkov, sure. But if this goes to decision and it's a close fight, whatever,
Yeah.
Aspinall, I think, is going to get the win. But yeah, you know, and who was with his gym? Darren Till was with his gym. Darren Till was with
Yeah.
his gym.
Yeah.
He left Darren Till, so now their whole focus should be on Tom Aspinall. Maybe a little on Mike Grundy, who's also in the UFC, who's in that gym too. But yeah, I think he's getting all the focus right now. This is a big fight in his career. Talk about like number 6 fighter in the world, Volkov, heavyweight contender. So if Aspinall is able to beat him, man, he could be very close to a title shot. 2 fights away from a title shot if he fights some guy in the top 5, and then boom, it could be a title shot for him. So I think he knows what's the importance of this fight, and I think he's gonna go out there and just take this one. I would say, whoops. How am I gonna say this fight ends? It's a 5-round fight, right? Maybe like a man, because Tom Aspinall doesn't wait long. He likes to finish his opponents early in the first round. Maybe like a second round, second round KO, second round TKO KO method, second round. I mean, he doesn't like to wait. If you look at his fights, usually they end in the first round, but I think Volkov will be able to withstand the first round. Maybe, and then like you'll see Aspinall put the force on him in the second, just start backing him up and just pick him apart and maybe get that clean hook on the chin or something like that and knock him out. So I'm gonna go Aspinall KO TKO second round. I'll say second, third round.
Okay.
Hopefully it's not first because it could be first the way Aspinall fights.
No, but no, I'm so excited for this fight because I feel like this is a perfect matchup for both fighters at the perfect time, right? So you have
Yeah.
one guy, Alexander Volkov, who's always been at the top of the division, always been at the top, beating some really, really good fighters. And then you have Tom Aspinall, who's a rising, super quickly rising up the
Yeah.
ranks, right? His last fight, he fought Spivak. Spivak fought Greg Hardy. We saw how dominant he can be. And
Yep.
Tom Aspinall finished him in 2.5 minutes. So goes to show how good Tom Aspinall is. He didn't even take one strike from Spivak. So that just shows like Spivak he didn't even record a stat. So that's
No.
kind of crazy. And
Record a stat.
literally, so Tom Aspinall, I watched a bunch of the highlights. I really like how he fights. The way he fights, his ground game too. So having a heavyweight that can do that, it just shows how good this heavyweight division is, especially when you have like Cyril gone already at the top, right? And Tom Aspinall and those new I feel like those two guys are like the main. They're gonna be at the top for a while.
Tom Aspinall and Cyril.
It's just the way they fight is so smooth, and like especially Tom Aspinall's ground game is really good too. So that's a huge addition for him. And his boxing, because don't forget when he first started, he was boxing at Tyson Fury's gym. So he has that Tyson Fury mentality. He's been boxing with Tyson Fury, so I feel like he's got that going. But you cannot sleep on Alexander Volkov. Man. This guy, he's a beast. He has 3 losses in the UFC. One of them, Derek Lewis. He should have won that fight. Realistically, we all know what happened last 5 seconds.
Yeah,
he gets to finish. He has a loss to Curtis Blades. So the Curtis Blades loss is interesting to me because Curtis Blades, most fighters, if you can beat Curtis Blades, because Curtis Blades is a wrestling guy, right? So if you can beat Curtis Blades, it shows that your wrestling is good enough, right? So and you can not your wrestling good enough, but it shows that you have a certain level of wrestling or takedown defense, right? So losing to Curtis Blades
he lost, right?
He lost to Curtis Blades. So that showed me that okay, he can get taken down and lose by decision. So Tom Aspinall can go that route, as you said, or he can go what Cyril Gane did. So especially it's a 5-rounder fight too. So just beat him by outstriking him. But Volkov's a really good striker. I think Cyril Gane's still a better striker than Tom Aspinall, but it's in terms of Tom Aspinall.
It's close, man. His striking's getting better, Tom Aspinall. He looks really, really good right now.
And the thing with Tom Aspinall is his striking is really good, and he's got that knockout power. Like he's got that finishing touch. Cyril Gane's never really had that finishing touch. So the fact that Tom Aspinall has that, and obviously we know how he can be a huge star, especially he's just if you watch the interview, super laid back guy, just does his thing, like very likable dude. So and his fighting style, the way he fights too, is super like fans are if you watch him fight, you're gonna love him. So the thing with Volkov is Volkov's always been, if you beat Volkov, you're at the top. So I think Tom Aspinall, if he can beat Volkov in this fight, he's gonna be ranked 5 or 6, right? And is definitely gonna shoot him up there. And my God, this heavyweight division. Now you have Tai Tuivasa there, Cyril Gane, Ngannou, Miocic, Tom Aspinall,
John Jones.
This win. Exactly, John
Jones ever decides he wants to fight,
Exactly. So I'm super hyped.
Yeah, I know. John Jones, that's weird. He said he wanted to fight in 2022, right?
Yeah, there's too much going on, so I don't think John Jones really.
Man, that's crazy. Tai Tuivasa, and like you said, beat Derek Lewis, knocking out with the elbows. Now he's up there. I don't think, even though I like Tai, I just don't think he can contend with some of the top guys in this division.
Exactly.
I think Tai Tuivasa would. It's or not Tai. Sorry, Tom Aspinall.
Yeah, exactly.
It's weird. I really thought Derek Lewis had that fight, but I don't know, man. Because Derek Lewis is like, when you talk about a guy with striking and knockout power, he's not technical, as we know. He lands that right hand, but he got Dawkins. Before that, I forget who it was. Was it Dawkins and then lost? Yeah, Curtis Blades, and then lost to Cyril. Then beat Chris Dawkins, and then got knocked out by Tai. Yeah, no, it's strange. Tom Aspinall, definitely the future here in the heheavyweight alongside Cyril. And like you said, so he's gonna win. I feel like he's gonna beat Alexander Volkov, and he's gonna jump in. Then he's gonna be one fight away, I think, from a title shot. Honestly, the way like I don't know.
Yeah.
There's so many like the heavyweight. There's so many questions. When Stipe Miocic is going to come back, who he's going to fight? Maybe Tai Tuivasa. He's called him out. And who let's say Tom Aspinall beats Volkov, like who would he fight next? Who would he fight next? Realistically,
Hey,
I don't know who you fight
how,
next.
there's a lot of people we could fight. Realistically, if you want, you can put him against Miocic. Gone, right? Winner of that gets a title
That's
shot.
true.
But that's gonna be a really because I feel like Gon's at a certain level right now. Like you have Ngannou and then you have Gon right under, right? So I feel like there's so many good matchups that can be made in this heavyweight division, especially with Tom Aspinall rising so quickly, especially if he can get a finish right here. Because realistically, Volkov, people know his ceiling. His ceilings are already like people know what it is. He's gonna be this guy that he's always gonna be the top like 10, right? He's gonna be able to beat most of like 5 out of these top 10 fighters, right? He's gonna be able to beat most of them. But
he can't beat the top of the top just because he's a one-dimensional. He's a boxer at this point, right? He's a big boxer with big front kicks but with knockout power. And some guy like Ciryl, like I don't think he would ever be able to beat Ciryl Gane if they ever fought again, and stuff like that. So just getting with technical striking, technical kickboxing, he's a guy that can't compete. But so that's that. There's 4 fights on the main card.
Yeah.
So your parlay, if you should look something like Gunnar Nelson. This would be my primary parlay. Would be Gunnar Nelson, Paddy, Arnold Allen, and Tom Aspinall. However, you could make another parlay that has Takashi Sato on it. I would put Takashi Sato. The only what do you think is your potential upset?
For me, it's Dan. I think Dan Hooker's got it, to be honest.
No, he's not an upset. I'm talking about like Gunnar Nelson versus Takashi Sato because they're almost 4-1. Sato or Vargas versus Paddy?
I can't see Paddy losing, to be honest. I feel like the UFC wouldn't allow that either. Like I just can't see Paddy losing, It's just so like you know what I mean? Like this guy, there's no way it ends right away. Like it just started. The Paddy show just started. There's no way it ends.
It's just tough when it's 4-1 fighters. It ruins your odds for a good parlay, good payout. But listen, Takashi Sato I look at because he is a good striker. Gunnar Nelson is not going to want to strike with him, though. He's going to want to take him down. But if he does end up getting pieced in the first round, that could be an upset. So look at Takashi Sato as a potential upset if you want to put him on another parlay with low money. He can give you some money because he's a plus 290. And so Gunnar, Paddy, Arnold. For me, Eric is Dan Hooker, if you trust in Eric. And then we both have Tom Aspinall. So that is a nice little parlay for UFC Fight Night in London this weekend. Should be a good one. Everyone's watching. I'm hyped for this one. Definitely gonna be watching this one. Just love the English fighters, Eric. I want the English fighters to grow. I want them to have some stars in the UFC here from England. And so I'm rooting for them, I'm rooting to bring it home to the country, to the homeland. And so, yeah, that has been another episode of the Chtib Zhang Show, episode 63, UFC Fight Night in London. So thank you for listening to us on Spotify or here on YouTube if you were watching with us. And we'll see you guys in the next episode. Roll the outro.